So this is our lecture 5. Today we're gonna start assignment 2, where we're gonna actually draw a building, right? So we're gonna use building elements this time. No more massing. We are done with massing. So let's start today's assignment 2. Okay, in this assignment, you're supposed to replicate a house based on the sample of drawings that I've given. So you have to draw it exactly as it looks like in the sample. Okay, except for the first floor. The first floor, I leave it up to you. You can model it how you want. Don't just copy the exact same thing that's on ground floor. So you need to work a bit on the first floor by yourself. Okay, so just follow the drawings. At the end, you need to have a complete set of drawings that look exactly like the sample I've given you. Okay, so first let's cover a few elements in the building part. Okay, so you go to your new project. Here you will pick your architectural template as usual, and then you will browse. You will pick your default metric. Okay, then you're going to click open. Here you make sure you leave it on project. Okay, and then you press OK. So you're familiar with massing ribbon here, where we had all our massing elements and stuff. Today we're going to cover building elements, so whatever is in here. Okay, so here, as you know, your properties panel, your project browser and everything, we've talked about this before. Here you can find all your building elements like wall, you can have doors, windows, right? Column, you can place a component for this one, and then you have your column. Okay, you have your roof, ceiling, you have floor, curtain wall, and all these things, right? Ramp, stairs. Okay, they all, whatever it is written here, it's exactly what it's gonna do. Okay, we're not going to go in depth on room tagging and area tags and stuff. It's quite easy, but we are not going to cover it since we won't be using it. Okay, these are elements that you can use to cut, like in, you know, an opening, like a face. You can cut through a face, right? You can just go through it. You have your grids. This is your work planes, as we have mentioned before, and we've tried all these work planes. Basic element we're gonna start is a wall. So I'm gonna pick the wall. Here it gives you what type of wall it is. So it's a generic 200 millimeter wall. So we can either use 200 or 150. Okay, the project is 150. Okay, so we're gonna use 150 wall all around. Except parts, I think the bathrooms are 100, but it doesn't matter now. That one will go through later. So wall, let's say if you want to pick a different type of wall, you just click the drop down, you will have different types of wall, right? You have blockwork, 100, 140, right, 200, but usually we use 150. So I'm going to make a 150 wall based on this generic 200. So what you do is, after you've picked your wall tool, you just click on edit type. Here you're gonna click duplicate. Okay, don't edit the original wall, just duplicate it and then just type 150 here. Okay, 150, and then you're gonna press OK. In here you can see the width is still at 200, so we need to edit the structure here. Okay, so you click on edit. Then in here you can change your thickness to 150. Right now the material is by category, so there's no material assigned to it, but we're gonna assign a brickwork to it, or blockwork, sorry. In here by category, you just click here, right? It will open your material. You're familiar with this window as well. So in here you can just type block wall or brickwork, right? Okay, we have concrete masonry unit, so we can pick this one. Okay, so that's going to be our new material. For surface pattern, we're going to remove the pattern because it's going to make the drawing very messy. So you just go all the way up, you pick none. Okay, so no surface pattern. Background also we don't want. The cut pattern is the important one. So cut pattern, we're going to click on the diagonal crosshatch. We're going to pick brickwork here. Okay, brickwork. Then you press OK. You go apply. OK. Then here, OK. Okay, before you click OK here, you can actually have a preview of how the wall will look, right? So that's in plan. You can see in section how it will look. It will be something like this. Okay, you just press OK. Okay. So we are done with our wall. Before we start drawing, just make sure you change your level detail to fine. Okay, if not, some of your hatches won't show. So make sure you change it to fine. Now we can start drawing a wall. So the wall, it says the location line is wall center line. So that means the wall will be drawn based on a center line. So the wall will be like divided in half. So 75 on one side, 75 on one side. This technically you don't have to change, but you can either choose if you want to draw the core center line, the finish face, so you're drawing at the back of the wall or the interior of the wall. So I suggest don't change it, leave it to center line. Your base constraint means where the wall is attached at the base, right? So when you're gonna do the house, you will have your finish floor level, your finish floor level 1, and a roof. So basically you have to tell Revit where you want the base to be at. Next is the base offset. So if you want the base to offset, maybe it doesn't start at 0, so which is ground level, so you want it to offset maybe to 450. It will leave a gap from the ground to the base of the wall, so it will start drawing with an offset. Okay, same, you have a top constraint. Here you can assign it to level 2, which is Revit's default for now. Later we're gonna make our own levels. So just leave this one unconnected for now. Then it will give you the unconnected height, right? So it will be unconnected and the height will be 8,000, which is 8 meters. Then you have a top offset, right? To have the offset, you will need to attach it to a level. For example, let's say I want to attach the top to level 2. Then I can give it a top offset. If it's unconnected, means it's not connected to anything, then you can change your height manually. Okay, then all of this you don't need. Okay, so now once we are set with all of this, okay, let's leave it at 8,000. We're gonna start drawing. Okay, if you go back to your place, modify place wall, you will see your drawing tools appear. Here you have your height, your unconnected, basically same things that are here. Okay, your center line. Then chain means the wall will be chain, so they will be connected. So when you draw the first one, the second will be connected. This is for radius if you're making a circular wall, and then joint status is allowed. What we can do is we're going to change this to disallow. So we don't want the wall to be connected because of our later our columns. For this example, you can just try on allow, which is fine. So you can just start drawing your wall. Okay, so you just make a square, any shape you like. Okay, you can see your hatch pattern and everything. If you go to 3D, you can see that the wall is drawn, right? It's like a box for now. It doesn't have a base or a top, so no floor, no roof. It's just a simple wall, 8,000 high, 8,000 millimeter high. So if you want to attach maybe this wall to level 2, so top constraint here, I'm going to change it to level 2. I click apply. You can see it's attached to level 2. Okay. This is one. If you want to change it to shaded also, so that you understand what's happening, you can see what's happening. You can drag it manually. So if I select the wall, you can see I can move this, right? When I reach level 2, it will snap, right? Revit will give you that snap. So you can snap it here. Same for the base. If you want to go and offset lower than 0, so that will be a negative value. So if you go lower, as you can see, the base offset is at a negative value. Okay, if I go above 0, so that's 0, it snaps at level 1, which is 0. It's 0. If I go higher, it's a positive value. Okay, so it doesn't have that negative to it. So let me bring back the base, snap here. Okay, you can select these also. You can change it to level 2. You cannot pick level 1. It will give you an error because the base and the top cannot be the same. Right, so you can do the same here. Okay, or I'll just leave this one just to give you an example. Now if you go to your, let's say for example level 1, and you want to draw maybe a roof. Okay, so a roof, I'm just gonna pick the roof by footprint. There's a few roof tools. When you click the drop down, you have a few roof tools. We're just gonna do by footprint. Now Revit will give you this. It will tell you that, you know, the roof is on the lowest level. It knows that level 1, which is our level here, is at 0. So it's asking you if you want to move it to your level 2, which is your highest level here. So you just click yes. Then you can start making your roof. Okay. So if you go to pick tools, you can pick the lines, right? You can pick the lines around. Now we have the 4 lines which are around the walls. If you go to your level 2, it's going to be the same thing. If you click finish, it will create a basic roof that's 400 millimeters. Again, if you want to change it to something thinner, maybe 125, it's up to you. You can change it to 125, or if you want a custom one, you can just edit type. In here, you're going to duplicate it. We're going to use a 150 roof, right? As you can see in the assignment 2, that house sample, the slabs are at 150. So we leave it at generic 150. I just press OK. In here, same, I'm going to edit the structure, edit. I'm going to change the thickness to 150. And then I'm going to change the material. So material will be concrete. It's a concrete floor. Okay, you can use concrete cast in situ. So pick this one. Okay, your hatching is correct. No foreground button, which is okay, good. Let's click on OK. Let's say in here you wanted to have like a different floor finish for something else, which we'll cover later. So for now, just leave it at this. When we make a floor, I'll show you how to insert. But let's say if you had to have a finish on your roof, you can insert a new layer here. Okay, you can change this to finish 1, right? So if I give it a thickness, just to show you, maybe 50, and then I just assign a random material to it, you can see it created that finish on top, right? So now if you add a new one, okay, it will go on top, and then you click down, down, it goes under. So let's say you have another 50, right? And then you can assign any material to it. So basically now you have a finish on top, your concrete, and another finish. But now we are not going to use this, so I'm going to delete this and delete this top layer. I just want that 150 concrete. Once you're done, you just press OK. OK. Now it should be fine. So if you see, there's a small triangle that's drawn by Revit. This is indicating where the slopes are. So the slope, you can change the angle. Now it's at 30. I'm just going to leave it at default. Let's finish this. Okay, it's telling you if you want to attach these walls, right, to the roof. For now, I'm not going to attach it. I'm just going to leave it at don't attach. Go back to your 3D. Now you can see that you have a pitch roof. Okay, you can even make it lower, higher. It's all up to you. Okay, just for this example. Right, so you have your pitch roof, and then if you want to, let's say, maybe change the roof shape, so maybe these two, right, you select these two, maybe they don't have a slope, so maybe you flatten it, right? So Revit will ask you again if you want to attach. So now let's try to attach, so this wall to the roof. Okay, so if you click attach, it's gonna attach the things to the roof, right? So you can do the same for this. You can select it. Here you see attach top base, detach top base. We want to attach. So you select your roof, right? So it will shape that wall to make the shape of the roof. Okay. So the problem is when you do attach the wall, usually if you're having a complex shape, you don't have that top handle anymore because we attached the top, right? So that handle is gone. Okay, so now if I want the handle back, I have to detach it. So I'm going to pick detach. Then I'm going to select the roof, right? But then you won't be able to shape your wall exactly like the roof. So you might have to cut out that wall. Okay, so you can just leave it at attached. Okay, select the roof. Right, so you can have things like this, okay, where you can play around with the roof, right? It's all up to you. You can edit the footprint again. Maybe you want this side now to have the slope, so define slope. Then you click finish, right? So now you will have something like this because there's 3 So that's why here it's a bit slanted. This side is not slanted because this side is not having that slope indication. Okay, that's basically wall. For floor, again, let's go to level 1. In here, you can just pick floor. You have different types of floor, but we're going to use architectural. So you pick architectural. Okay, you can pick your drawing tool again. You can just pick rectangle since it's a rectangle. You just make your rectangle. And then here, same again, floor generic. You can change what type of floor you're having, the thickness. But like I said, the roof and the floor slab, they are all 150 for the project. So you can just use generic 150. Just make sure that you edit, you check if the hatching for the material is there. As you can see, the hatching is not there. So in here, the cut pattern, okay, it should be fine. It's concrete. Okay, press OK. Now it's fine. I'm going to press OK. Okay. So now I have my floor. I can just press finish. Go back to the 3D. Right now you have your floor. Okay. Same thing for your floor. You can move your floor. You can offset it. Maybe if you want to offset it from the 0 level. So maybe you offset it at 450. As an example, you can see it went up. If I go negative 450, it will go down. Right? It will go below level 1. Okay. So you just have to leave it where it is. Right. So now you have your drawing elements. Okay, let's say you want to place a door. You can just pick the door. You can change what type of door you want. All the doors are 900, so maybe you edit this one. You can see it's 915. Okay, you can leave it at that. Okay, so you just press OK. So to place the door, you cannot place it anywhere. It has to be hosted by a wall. So if you try to place the door outside, it won't. You can see that, stop sign. So if you mouse over a wall, you can see you can place the wall. So you can click the wall. Right, you can place a few. You can select it, you can flip it, okay? Or you can just press spacebar on your keyboard, it will flip it around for you. Okay, it's easier sometimes to click. Just get the hang of it. Here also you can adjust the sill height, so to lift the door higher from the ground or into the ground, it's up to you. Right, but there's no door that's in the ground, so all the doors will be at the ground level or first floor level. So same for windows, right? So you pick a window, you cannot place it anywhere except a wall. So you can just place your windows. You can select your windows, you can edit type. Okay, here you can change your size, like the height, width, the default sill height. Okay, so like how high is the wall from the ground, right? So that would be your sill height. Okay, just play around with this a bit. You can even change materials for the window. Right? Okay, so once you've changed your size and you're okay with it, you just press OK. Right, so you'll have your window. Again, if you want to edit the window, duplicate them first. Don't edit directly. Okay. So then you have your windows. Then ceiling will be the same as roof, right? But ceiling is more for like false ceiling, so where you can run all your services. Floor we've covered already. Curtain panel, easy. You can just pick a curtain panel, right? Oh, sorry, there's a curtain system. Okay, this is meant to be used with massing. Okay, curtain grid, mullion. Okay, the curtain grid is just for splitting. If you have a piece of glass, you wanna split it. Like have those joints, but you won't create the joints. It will just split it like on what dimension you need it. And then here you can place the mullions, which are the joints, right? Railing is just to draw a handrail. You can choose your type of handrail that you want. Okay, let's not draw outside. Inside, sorry. Just draw outside. Just draw the line. Let's finish. Go to 3D, right? You can see you have your rail. You can click the railing. Again, you can change the type. Maybe you want the glass panel. You can edit it, right? You can customize it, the height, the type of rail if you want, right? The type of joints and all these things you can customize. But we are not going to cover this in so much detail. So you can just use a railing, or you can download a railing online. I'll give you a few websites where you can get doors and windows, just to make your project look a bit better. It's up to you, or you can use the default one. Okay, because later for assignment 3, we're gonna carry forward this house that we're gonna make, that sample that I gave you. We're gonna carry it forward to project 3, where we will have to render that house. Okay, so I'm gonna close this. I don't want to edit the railing. I'm just gonna go back to the top view, right, on the 3D thing. I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna delete them. Okay, don't worry about this. Right, go back to your 3D, which is empty. Okay, you should have these levels. Don't delete the levels. Okay, make sure you go to the top view and then you delete it. Right. So now here you have 2 levels. Okay, we're gonna start our project 2, assignment 2. So you just go File, Save As. You give it a save before you start working, in case your Revit crashes or anything. Okay, first thing, we're gonna go to our elevations. We want to rename these levels to convenient name, right? So level 1, you can just call it ground level. Press enter. Again, if you remember, it's gonna ask you if you want to rename. Yes, you always rename, right? So you can easily find them here. Just minimize your ceiling plans in case you accidentally open it and you don't find your building elements. Okay, next is level 2. Okay, level 2, we're gonna change it to FFL 1. Okay, finish floor level 1, which is our first floor. After this, we're gonna add the ground floor. Don't worry. So just put it FFL 1. Okay, do you want to rename? Yes, we're gonna change this to 3750. Okay, press enter. So now you have 3750. Now we're gonna create a few more levels. Okay, you can go to architecture, you pick your level here, but we're gonna use the shortcut, which is LL. Okay, just pick this one, just draw it randomly. Okay, let's draw FFL 2. Okay, let's draw this one first. Okay, FFL 2, which we're gonna rename just to FFL. Okay, press enter. Again, rename, yes. This one, we're gonna change it to 450. Press enter. Again, break this one, the elbow. Just break it down here so they don't overlap. Okay, so you will have something like this. 3 levels now: ground, finish floor level 1, which is our first floor. Now we're gonna make another level for roof. So again, LL. Okay, try to make it aligned when you draw it. Okay, select it. We're gonna call it roof. Press enter. Rename, yes. So this one is going to be 3,300. Okay, so between these two, right now it's 3,200. You can, when you have the roof level selected, you just type in 3,300 here, press enter. Okay, so now the ground is 0. Our first ground floor, the floor itself, the floor slab will be at 450. Then 450 to here, that's 3,300, right? So you make this 3,300, right? So you have your dimension. Okay, make sure you have your dimensions aligned properly so they look nice, and all your grids should be aligned. Okay, so all these grids will be visible in the other elevations or your sections, right? So we're gonna leave this as it is for now. We're gonna go to our ground level. No, ground level. Okay, let's go to FFL first. It's easier to. Okay, when you start drawing, you make sure that you're drawing between these 4 elevation tags. Okay, so then Revit can, create those elevations. If you happen to draw somewhere else, Revit won't be looking at your building and you won't be able to have your elevations. Okay, don't delete these, just keep it and try to draw inside, the box. right? So now let's open a site plan. Okay, site plan we will cover later. Okay, don't worry about the site plan. Let's focus on making the building because those hatching elements will come in later. Okay, so just leave the site plan for now. Let's open ground floor plan. Okay, so if you look at your ground floor plan, it needs to look like this by the end. Okay, so every class we will cover a different element, and then we will have to make it look as best as it is here. Right? I mean, if you can make it better also, it's fine, but it needs to look like this with all the dimensionings, all the grids, right? Don't worry about the notes. So whatever is not covered in the lecture will be covered later on. But for today, we're gonna do all the dimensions, all the walls and doors. Okay. Don't worry about the stairs or anything. That one we can cover later. So if you need any specific dimension, you can just ask me. I will give you in case I have missed it. So yeah. So today we're gonna do all the walls, doors and windows and the column. And for the first floor, you will have to design it by yourself. So you will have to have your first floor. Okay, let me see if I can show you the project. Oops. Okay, not this one. Yeah, not this house. Okay, sorry. Let me close this. This one. Okay, let's go to 3D. Let me show you the house. Okay, so the house is something like this. Okay, so the ground floor, you need to make it exactly like it is here, which I will show you in more lectures as we progress. Okay, the first floor you can design by yourself. Okay, I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so the first floor you have to design by yourself, right? So today we will cover walls, doors, beams and columns. And you have to have all your grids and all your dimensions ready for next class. Okay, let me close this project. Okay, make sure you have your PDF ready. So this one, you can print it. It's easier if you have it printed, so you can look at it and draw at the same time. Then you don't need screen, zoom in, zoom out. Okay, I'll just split it into two. Okay, so first thing, we're gonna draw the grid lines. Then it'll be easier to draw out the walls. Okay, so grid lines. You can pick grid lines, which is here, right? In your architecture ribbon on the right, you will see where level is. There's grid, or the shortcut is GR for grid. Okay, let's start drawing these ones because they will be numbers. Okay, so just draw. So one, don't mind the 1A for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one we have. I'm gonna do 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now the 1A, right? The 1A will be somewhere here. Just draw it randomly for now, right? So we have our 1A. Now we're gonna draw all the A, B, C, D. Okay, so there's B2 and C1. So A, B, C, D. There's 4 grids. So first one, rename it, call it A. Okay, so once you rename it, when you draw the first one, when you draw the second one, Revit will know it's a B. A, B, C, D. And then you have B2 and C1. Okay, B2 and C1. So B2 will be somewhere here, B2, okay, and then we have C1, which is here. Okay. So now you press escape, click on the grid. Again, we're gonna rename this B2, okay, and then this one will be C1. right? And then we have 1A. So this number 6 becomes 1A. Okay. Now we can start putting the dimension. You just press DI for dimension, or you can pick your dimension here, or you can go to annotate, pick aligned here. Okay. So you just dimension it. So you click the first one, click the second one, the third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. Okay. Same for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you click in an empty space. It will finish the dimension. Now you just have to look at the dimensions here. Okay, so from grid A to B is 4850. A to B is 4850. 4850, press enter. B to B2. B to B2 is 4100. So I have to move B2 to 4100. So select B2, then you type in the dimension 4100. Now we have to move C. C is 1410. So you pick C, click the dimension 1410, enter. The dimensions need to be exactly like this one. They cannot change. Okay, don't change it. Okay, so C1 is 2865. So I'm going to pick C1. I'm going to type 2865, press enter. And then for D is 1215. Okay, so select D. This one, 1215. 1275, sorry. 1275, press enter. Okay, so we have our grids here. They might be a bit more on the right or left. It's okay, that one we can adjust them later. Okay, or if you want to adjust them now also is fine. So yeah, you can just select them, right? Select the ones you want to move, so all of them, and then you press the right button on your keyboard, or you can just drag them, right? You can just drag them as you need. So try to center them. Okay, so somewhere here. Okay, same for these. Okay, 1 to 1A is 1275, so I'm going to select the 1A. I'm going to do 1275, press enter. Number 2 is 2325. Select this. Here, 2325. Press enter. Number 3 is 1800. So here, 1800. Enter. Number 4 is 4900. So here, 4900. Press enter. And then the last one, number 5 is 2340. Select it. 2340. Enter. Right, so you have all your grids ready. Okay, so you select one grid, you just click edit type. On this, plan views, this one. Apply. Okay, so now it's gonna give you, both sides of the grids. Right, so in here we don't want this one. I'm gonna off this. Same for C1. We don't need it. Same for B2. As you can see, they don't go through. So you just off these. Okay. Only the ones that you need on, or the main ones. Before we place the walls, let's place some columns. Okay, the column, I'm going to share the family with you. Right. So in here, you just click the drop down. We're gonna pick structural column. Structural. Right. So it's asking me to save. I'm not gonna save it. I'm just gonna cancel. You make sure you're saving it. Right, I'm gonna share the column family with you. So to load the family, I'm going to show you how to load the family now. Once you've picked your structural column here, right, you just have to load your column here, load family. Okay, so then you browse to where you've downloaded that column, the one I'm going to share with you. Then you just open the file. Okay, so you just open the file, the column will load here. Right, so now what you can do is we can ask Revit to place the columns directly. So I'm going to pick these options, add grid, right? Okay, and then I'm going to select all my grids, right? There will be extra which we can delete. That's the easier way. So then you click finish. It will tell you none of the items are visible. You can just go to your 3D, right? So you have all your columns here. In here, what I suggest doing is you can go to the top view on the 3D, right? So then you just check the drawing. So I'm going to go back to my drawing. Okay, so in here, okay. So at A1, we don't have any column. So I can delete the one at A1. Okay, B1 also doesn't have. So I'm going to delete B1. Okay, so all of these are fine. Okay, all of it here should be fine. Yeah, so only A1 and B1 doesn't have a column. The rest is fine. In case later you're drawing, you see there's one missing, you can even manually place the column. So if you go back to your column, structural, right, you can manually place them by clicking where you want them to be. Okay, so I think here at, yeah, so this is fine. Okay, I'm going to off this one. Okay, so here I don't think there's a column. So B24. So just check B24. Yeah, there's no column. Okay. B2 only ends at 3. So B24. This one, there's no column here. You can delete it. Right. And then we can move this back up there. Okay, somewhere here. Okay, so that's the columns. So if you go back to, you rotate your 3D, that will be your column base. So here what I suggest doing is, we want to move the column higher, right? So right now they are at, if you check the column, it says the base is at ground level. Okay, so we want to make it go down. Okay, we can just leave it at FFL here. The base offset we can minus 500. Okay, we can leave it like this. So do the same for everything. You just select the whole thing. You go to filter. You click check none. You pick the structural column. Apply. Okay. In here we're gonna change the base again. So this one to minus 500. Right. So now it's going in the ground, where later we're going to add our foundation pads. So maybe make it minus 1,000 so it looks more obvious. Okay, now you just copy this while you have it selected. You go Control C, and then here you will go to paste, right? You go to modify, paste, align to selected levels. We want to align this to FFL1. Right? So it's going to give you a warning. This time we're going to change the base to FFL, the top to FFL1, the base offset will be 0. Okay, so you will have the columns that touch the floor, and then from the floor it goes into the foundation pad, which we're going to add in the next lesson for our foundation pads. Okay, so you should have something like this. Okay. So once you have your columns, you can go back to your FFL. Now we can start drawing our walls. Okay, so the shortcut for walls is WA, walls, or you can go to architecture and pick walls. Okay, so you pick your walls, you have a 150 wall that we had made earlier when we started the exercise. If you don't, you just edit type, you duplicate, you create a new wall, you change the structure thickness, right? Like we did earlier, remember this part, and make sure you change the hatching also. So once you change this to 150, make sure your hatching is brickwork, surface pattern is none. So all of it is none except for cut pattern. Okay, then you go okay, okay. Now here we're gonna start drawing all the walls first. Then later we're gonna add our doors and and all the things that we have. Okay, so let me start from this side. Okay, make sure you're looking at the sample, right? Okay, this is wrong, so you start at the column. Okay. Okay. Don't draw the wall in the column. You need to stop at the column. Right, so you just draw the whole thing. Okay, so I'm not gonna draw the whole thing. I'm just gonna draw the outline. You have to draw the whole thing. So make sure you're looking at the plan and drawing it as it is. Okay, let me draw one more. Okay, so you have to draw all the walls, right? Even the internal walls also. So the internal walls will be something like this. Okay, so if your column, you see if that, it's not like as thick, the lines as the walls, you can select one column, or you can type VG for visibility graphics. In here, you can open structural columns. So you scroll down under model categories. You find structural columns, right? So lines, okay, the cut pattern, you want to override the lines, right? So you change the override to solid color black, okay, and then the weight maybe, I think 5 or 4. You try 5 first. Okay, 5 is too much. Maybe 3. Press OK. Apply. Okay, now your column is like same thickness as the wall, which is good, and it has your hatching. Okay. Yeah. Just make sure you're set to fine here, right? Remember we had set this to fine. So then you will have your hatching on your wall as well. If not, the hatching won't show up. Okay, you complete the whole thing. Let's do the beams. So you go to structure, you click on beam, right? You load family. You can browse to where you downloaded the beam family I'm going to share with you. Okay, if you want, you can also download it, and then you can just open the beam. Okay, the beam file, you just open it here. Here you can load into project and close. It's going to load it in this project, right? You just draw it randomly so that it gets loaded in the project. Then you can delete it. Now, if you go to your FFL, you have to draw your beams. Or if you go to structure, beam, okay, you can place them at grids, right? So if you click on grids, select the whole thing, click finish. It's going to give you a warning that it's not visible, which is fine. You can go to 3D. Right, you will have your beams. Right. So these columns also are not there because this is the terrace that leads outside, but it still has the beam. So you will have your beam system here. Right. Now, if your walls are too high, which I forgot to set before I started drawing, you can just select the whole thing. You click on filter, check none. You want to pick the walls only. Press OK. The top part should be FFL1. Right. So the top part is FFL1. Okay, you'll have more walls anyway. Right. So, okay, put an offset to it also. Let's do minus 450. Okay, for the beam that will go above it. So now you can select the whole thing again. Filter, check none, pick the structural framing, press OK, Control C. You can paste, align to selected levels here. You click the drop down, paste, align to selected levels. You pick FFL1. Right, you'll have your beams that are up there. Okay, so I think the beam size is a bit too big, so I'm going to pick the beam. Here, I'm going to find 450 by 150. So, select the whole thing, filter, check none, pick the framing. Okay, here you want to change it to 450 by 150. So now you have all your beams. Right. Yeah. So here, at the base you won't have the beam because it's a cantilever, so you can delete all these beams that's above this terrace. Okay, so here you have your structure ready, and then if you go back to FFL, you can make your floor architecture, pick floor. Here if you don't have a 150, you can edit type, duplicate, right? But you should have it by now if you're using the same project where I was showing you the example of how to draw this. So you will have a 150, and then you have the concrete part, which is correct, and the hatching also is correct. I'm going to cancel this. I'm just going to draw the house. Not the house, sorry, the floor. So you pick the lines. Okay, this one should be quick, right? So you can just draw all around, right? But if you already have your walls, you can just use pick lines. You can pick the lines, and then don't forget to trim and extend. Right, so I'm going to pick this, trim, gear, pick this one. Okay, here I missed one. Okay, let me trim these ones. Okay, pick lines, pick line, trim this and this. Right, so you have the base of the house. Okay, so for the bathroom, right, the bathroom is somewhere here. Later we will have to cut out that bathroom so that, you know, because when you step into a bathroom, the floor is lower in case it floods and, you know, because of water splashing out. So the bathroom part, there won't be a bathroom same floor height as this, right? So the bathroom part, it will be 100mm floor, which is a different one, but for now we can just leave it at this. Okay, so you have all the thing, make sure it's closed shape, then you just finish it. Right, go to 3D, you'll have your floor. So your floor now, you can just Control C, copy it. You can paste, align to selected levels. You can paste it at FFL 1. Right, so you can have it like this. Then if you want to make it bigger or make it overhang, you can just edit boundary. Right, you can make it a bit overhang, right? But I'm just gonna leave it. And remember, you have to design the top floor by yourself. You don't have to. You cannot copy whatever is on the ground floor. So make sure that you're not doing that, right? So here also there's no column. I'm just gonna delete this. No beam, because it's a cantilevered slab. Same here. Yeah. So the column for this one I'm gonna delete. Here also there's no wall. Right, this small beam also needs to be gone. Right, so you will have this. Okay, so to check where the slab ends, the cantilever, you just have to check your PDF. You can see line of slab above, it's 1475, right? 1475, here is 1190. So if you go to your FFL1, okay, here will be 1190, which I think is correct already. Okay, that one was 1475. Okay, so here you change the offset 1475. You offset this, then you trim it, right? But if you see, there's one overhang also here, which is at 1190. It's going to be the same as this one, right? 1190. You can see it here. So you overhang this part of the slab too at 1190. Change this to 1190. You overhang it here, then you trim and extend. Okay, trim and extend. You just have to delete these three. Right, so now the slab is cantilevered. Okay, it's like overhang here. Okay, I think this one is a bit too much. Yeah, this one is not correct. So if you go back, so it needs to be 1190 from here, which is here. exactly here. This is 1190. BI, let me check here to here. Okay, it should be 1190. Okay, so if you go to your 3D, you'll have something like this, right? So make sure you add all your doors and stuff. So if you want to download new doors, let's say you want to use whatever door is in Revit, you can go click door, architecture door. You can pick type of door, but usually you don't have much options, right? Same for window. You don't have much option unless you edit your windows. But if you go to this website, okay, Revit City, okay, so Revit City, you can download. You can create a free account first. You just create a free account. It's free. Then you can, search for doors, sliding doors, anything, right? And then same for this one. It's called BIM Object, right? BIM Object. You can just create a free account, and then you can search for sliding doors or anything. Sliding. Okay, let me double check. Sliding, right? Doors, sliding. You can just pick it. Same for window. You will have all these kinds, right? It works the same as the BIM, so you can just open the file and then load it into the project. You can load it, and then when you pick your, let's say, your door, which is this one, in here from the list, you'll be able to find which door that you downloaded, and then you can edit the size and stuff, right? So you make sure you place your doors and windows. I'm just gonna place one randomly just to show you. Okay, so maybe there's a door somewhere here, right? And then there's a window for the bathroom, right? So window, maybe you have a small window for the bathroom somewhere here. Okay, just make sure you have all of this. And remember, if you look at the shafts in the bathroom, okay, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, if you look at the shafts, these walls are 100mm walls. Okay, the rest of the walls are 150. Don't mind anything else, except for these walls. Right, these walls have a layer. Remember when I was talking about the roof, I was adding layers. Okay, so these walls, because they have a stone cladding, so I think these walls, they are at 350, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let's say this is the 350 wall. Okay, there's no wall here, sorry. So let me create a new 350 wall just to show you. So WA for wall. In here you can see if you have a big wall, maybe 300. Okay, pick the 300, edit type. You can duplicate it. We're gonna call it 300. I'm gonna call it 350. I'm more sure it's a 350 wall. So 350. Give it a name. Stone cladding. Stone cladded. Okay. So then you press OK. You edit type. In here you're gonna change the block work to 200. Change the material to brickwork, which is correct. Then I'm gonna add a new layer, insert. I'm gonna add a new layer, which will be 150. And then here you can find stone. You just search for stone. Okay, there's no stone material. Okay, let's check here. Okay, there's stone. Okay, stone natural soldier or any one. I'm just gonna pick this one, stone. I'm gonna load it in the project. So let me see. Okay, you cannot undo, but if you want, let's say you find the stored material, you just click this up arrow, it will load up here. Okay, then you go to your appearance. Okay, graphics. Okay, in your graphics you need to set a cut pattern to it, right? If you don't, you can set a foreground to this one. So you just try to find like a nice pattern. Okay. Stone pattern, usually, yeah, you can just set something like this perhaps if you want, right? I'm using like custom patterns in the sample, but just set it to something, so that you know it's a different material. So pick the same. Okay, maybe the triangles, right? Go apply. Okay, so now you have 2 layers. Okay, on plan, so one will be that stone and one will be your concrete masonry units, your building blocks. Okay, so this wall, right, so let me draw it here. Okay, so now this wall, the issue that you're gonna have is you will have to make it shorter first. Make sure the stone is facing outside, and then you have to align your block to the column. So you pick the move tool, you can drag it and place it here. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking the size of this, because I think it might be 300. Okay. Yeah, it's 100, so it's 300, not 350. Okay, so it's a 300 wall. So here I'm just gonna edit type, edit, make this 150 and this one is 100. Go OK. You can rename it 300. Press OK, apply. Okay. Now you just have to align it back to the column, which is A, L. Pick the back of the column, pick the wall. Right. So now you have all of these walls. Okay, so there's one here also. Okay, let's change this one. Maybe you can change it to finish face exterior. So we're gonna pick this, put it here, and then I'm gonna flip this. Okay, it moved, so you can just drag it here. Okay, so you have that stone cladding. If you look at the plan, it has that stone cladding that goes all the way up to here. Okay, don't worry about the windows awning for now. Okay, that one we'll cover in another lecture. So once you've dimensioned everything, even the interior you have to dimension. Okay, so you have to dimension all the grids just like it is on the sample. So it's just like this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensions. Here there's 4. Okay, and then don't forget to add all the internal dimensions, except this line of slab above you don't have to put yet. Okay, because you don't know how to draw the lines yet. But the text for the rooms like dining, right, living, kitchen, right, and then make sure your dimensions are aligned. Okay, even for this they should be aligned. So if you're doing, I'm not sure, overall, right, so you need to make sure they are like one dimension, they are all aligned to each other. Even the interior, when you're going to dimension, let's say this one, okay, then there's a bathroom. Okay, let's say, okay, I don't have a wall, for example, this dimension and this dimension is aligned. So if you're dimensioning on the side here also, they need to be aligned. If you look at the drawing here, you will see they are all aligned. Okay, see, 3450, then it goes to here, 1625, right? You try to align them as much as you can. See, for the living here is 10185. Then on the same alignment, you can see it becomes 1895, 1920. So you know, try to align them as much as you can. Okay, see here 1475 here, 4700. Okay, this one might have moved because of the arrow, but yeah, try to align them as much as you can so they look neat. Okay, for the text you already know how to place text, right? You can just annotate here TX, which is the shortcut, or you can go to annotate, you can pick text. Okay, then you change your font like we've been doing during the massing exercise, where you have to write stuff about your massing. So here you're gonna call this dining, this would be living, right? Okay, make sure you have all your doors and windows, right? And then yeah, so make sure you have completed this by next week. Don't forget the offset for the beam, okay, so it doesn't look weird. Okay, make sure you finish the whole thing. Thank you.